My second main point is one of kingdoms and kings. We look at Jesus, who was a king, and we compare him to every other power and king on this earth. And you see that none compare. And so I offer the point that Jesus is the greatest king. Jesus is the king most powerful, the king that all kings bow to, as is usually said. Now, we see many similarities. Now, with kings, there are many things such as thrones, crowns, courts, other such things. We see Jesus' throne to be made of wood and a throne of anguish. Most other thrones are made of gold or other precious metals. And those thrones are thrones of comfort. But Jesus' throne was not of comfort. Or was it? We look at Jesus' crown, made of thorns, an anguish-giving article. Most other crowns are made of precious metal and are pleasing to look at. Jesus was not pleasing to look at, with blood coming down all over his face because of that crown. Or was he? We look at other things. His garb. Most other kings were very princely and very elaborate gowns. Jesus' gown was ripped from his flesh, bringing flesh with it, and then gambled for, which brings me to my next point, that the estates did not respect Jesus as they respect other kings and feudal systems and other systems that have existed throughout the world. The first estate, the clergy, showed no respect for Jesus. They wanted him dead, after all. The Sanhedrin brought him before Pilate for him to be executed. That shows no respect, really. The second estate, the military, as I was previously alluding to, took his garments and were gambling for them. And the third estate, very much portrayed by the thief on the left, had no respect for Jesus. Granted, there were those in the crowd that had respect, but the crowd as a whole, collectively, in a majority, showed no respect for Jesus. They mocked him and treated him with disrespect. This allows for many people to approach evil. Many of these people were wicked in nature. Now, in comparison with the other kings, we see at Golgotha, right outside Jerusalem, a king in a state of rebellion, a king where his subjects and caretakers have no respect for, a rebellion, a civil war. Very similar to Jesus in that respect, at least in appearance, is Charles of England, who was executed by Oliver Cromwell. At least Oliver Cromwell facilitated that execution. However, the point being that Jesus had the appearance of not being a successful leader. You can say that a successful leader is one that exemplifies and shows power and mighty and awe and commands that respect. Jesus obviously did not command that respect, apparent because of all the disrespect that was occurring. However, he is most mighty and powerful because of his saving power. By dying, he saved humanity from evil. Most rulers can only say they've conquered small regions or have done certain little things, but they cannot be attributed with saving the entire human race, those living in the past, present, and future. All of those people were saved. Every human was saved by the leadership of Jesus, the kingship of Jesus. Now, we see that many other leaders have problems with this. Many leaders in Rome especially. However, that not being the point being that other leaders not respecting Jesus, because Jesus is the all-powerful leader. As he said, he is the one who gave that power when talking to Pilate. Now, moving right along to the relationship between king and state. Jesus, obviously being a king, had a different relationship with his people. He gave them everything. Kings nowadays, other kings, worldly kings, give their subjects only, well, military strength or certain things, but not everything. Jesus gave the church, the entire world community, salvation. And in that king to subject relationship, there is the existence of taxation. And yes, Jesus taxes us with the Beatitudes and other things. Our good works, our prayers, our faith, all of that is a tax to God. And that tax of God can only be given with that fear. Now, taxes are also paid in worldly systems, but you don't tax, but the ruler does not tax every fiber of your being as Jesus does. Jesus asks for your whole heart and soul, and he asks that you give that through faith and good works, and charity and love and all of that. And with that in mind, you must give this with fear of God, with respect. And with that respect implies fear of the Lord. And that ties everything all together. In that, my friends in Christ, we must fear the Lord in order for us to be saved. It's a tax, you must pay it. So I suggest pay up. Thank you.